Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Matthew Ober, and today I'm going to be showing you my baseball card collection. This is it right here. I was recently at my parents' house, and I found what's left of my baseball card collection. As you can see, it's like just a book full of different pages, and this only represents like a small fraction of what the collection was at its highest point. I had like thousands of cards, like bins full of them, and yeah. So I guess today I'm just gonna show you some of the cards and tell you about my former life as a Red Sox super fan and just a fan of baseball in general. It was like my first real obsession. And I know, I'm sorry if there's any Phillies fans in the chat today, but today this is a Red Sox zone, so I think we should respect that. And you might be wondering, why do I have a Cubs hat here? I'm going to explain that later. But anyway, so let's start it off. The first card I'm going to show is actually a card of myself. I started playing baseball at age 8. I started collecting baseball cards around then, 7 or 8. And yeah, I don't really know which came first, like collecting cards or playing baseball, like Little League. But yeah, so this is a card of me at age 8. So, looks like our camera turned off. Oh, we're gonna get it back running. Just a second. Is it up? All right. Yep. Okay. There we go. So that's me, Matt Ober. I was on the Seattle Mariners Little League team. And as you can see right there, I signed the card just for any future collectors, like if I was going to be famous or something. But yeah, so this is me basically right at the beginning of my baseball obsession. And yeah, so although, growing up in Boston and being a Red Sox fan, weirdly enough, my first favorite player was Alex Rodriguez, which is kind of weird. It actually says it on the back of the card right there. Favorite player, Alex Rodriguez. Yeah, so George, can you? Thanks. It's okay. Yeah, so my first favorite player was actually Alex Rodriguez, which is kind of weird because he was not a Red Sox player. He was actually, at the time in like 2003, he was played on the Texas Rangers, and yeah, but he was just like one of the like best players at the time. I don't remember now why I loved him so much, but for some reason he was my favorite. And I actually wrote him a letter in like I think it was like the 3rd or 4th grade. We were supposed to write a letter to like a famous person or someone we like. I think someone we looked up to, like a hero or something like that. And I wrote a letter to Alex Rodriguez for some reason. And I got a letter back, and this framed picture card of him, as you can see right there. It's A-Rod. And it was a very nice letter, kind of a form letter. He didn't, definitely was just from his secretary or whatever, but it still felt cool to hear back, from your favorite player. And as you can see, actually on the back here, I copied down all of his stats from, just his career at that point, from another card, I guess, onto this, picture card. I was really like obsessed with statistics at the time. Like that was like one of my favorite parts of baseball, which is kind of funny. Like for some reason, just, knowing how many at bats, how many hits, how, what a pitcher's ERA was a certain year. I was just like fascinated by that and like logging all of it. And I would actually like use the stats to like make like simulate games totally on paper. Like I would just, figure out what team would beat another team just from that. But anyway, so around that age 8, that was Alex Rodriguez, was my favorite player. You might know him now as a husband of Mariah Carey. But he was the star back then. But unfortunately, a couple of years later, I think like 2005 or 6, he was actually traded to the New York Yankees, which was definitely a betrayal. Even though he wasn't a Red Sox, he, like, of course, if you know about the rivalry between the Red Sox and the Yankees, it was awful to see your favorite player get traded to the Yankees. And this is actually kind of is interesting because it in a way, like, it's kind of an echo through time, like a reverberation back to the last time that the Red Sox won the World Series before the famous 2004, which was in 1918. So they actually didn't win a World Series for 86 years. And all Red Sox fans, people from Boston, attribute this to what is called the curse of the Bambino. And this is essential to understand anything about the Red Sox and about baseball in general, because it's kind of like the main narrative about the Red Sox and about the history of that rivalry. So I'll just quickly tell you about the curse of the Bambino. So the Bambino, if you don't know, is Babe Ruth. It's a nickname for Babe Ruth. So all the way back in 1918, Babe Ruth was a player for the Boston Red Sox. He was actually a pitcher at the time in 1918, and he helped the Red Sox win the World Series that year. They won. It turns out that the club was hemorrhaging money that next year. They were basically bankrupt. So they were forced to trade their star player, Babe Ruth, who was, he wasn't the superstar yet, but he was like one of their best players. They were forced to trade him, and they actually traded him to the New York Yankees in 1919, the year after they won. And of course, if you don't know, Babe Ruth went on to become like one of the best baseball players of all time. He had the most home runs and held the record until Barry Bonds broke it. He was just like one of the best ever. And so he killed it for the Yankees. And then on the flip side, the Red Sox did not win another World Series for the next 86 years. And that's the curse, So they think that's what cursed them, this trade of Babe Ruth. So that's what I'm talking about in the kind of the parallel between A-Rod being traded and Babe Ruth creating this curse. And so that brings us to 2003. I'm actually going to start by talking a little bit about 2003. 2004, I'll spoiler, the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004, breaking this curse. But I need to go back first to talk a bit about that. So in 2003, they had an incredible team. They came really, really close with players like, here, let me show you some of these players that I'm talking about. I'm talking about players like Pedro Martinez and David Ortiz. Let me find a card of Pedro. Here we go. Here's David Ortiz. There we go. Amazing hitter. kind of carried the team a bit with Manny Ramirez, Pedro Martinez, and yeah, in 2003 they had an amazing team. Looked like they were going to take it. They seemed pretty unstoppable until they got to the second round of the playoffs, which was against the Yankees, and it was a close series. It went to Game 6. It was tied. I mean, the Yankees were up in Game 6, but it was really close. And it went down to the last inning, the last pitch, and Pedro Martinez. Let me find Pedro here. Here's a cool card of Pedro. There we go. So yeah, Pedro Martinez pitching in the ninth inning for some reason was not taken out, and this is very contentious. The manager at the time, Grady Little, did not take out Pedro Martinez. Everyone agrees that he should have. He was exhausted. He had played 9 innings of baseball, and he was, basically had nothing left in him, and he let up a walk-off home run to Aaron Boone, which won the Yankees the series and ruined the World Series dream for the Red Sox for the 86th year in a row. So that was like the mood going into 2004. It was like we're so close. So maybe there's a couple other series, 67, 86, that they got incredibly close also, but this was like 2003 was like we could feel it. It was like right there. But it didn't happen. So they got a new manager by the name of Terry Francona and some new players, and created what is now known as the Idiots. So the 2004 Red Sox were kind of a crazy crew of characters. They were like, it was obvious that they were like having fun with the game. So like, they were, incredibly skilled. Like they had an all-star, team of people, but they weren't, you would think that they would be really serious and trying so hard and not having fun. But it was the opposite, that their ability to have fun with the game and just that kind of worked in their favor. And it was a huge morale booster. They did really well in the season, and then in the postseason, they got to the second round of the playoffs, the ALCS, American League Championship Series, against, of course, again the Yankees in a parallel from 2003 to 2004, and they're like, okay, we got it. We have, all these great players. It's going to be different this year. And then they lose. So it's a best of 7. This series is a best of 7 against the Yankees. You go into it, they lose the first 3 games. So this is looking, pretty impossible to win. The Yankees are one of the best teams, and they're down so many games, but somehow they claw their way back, win 1 game, win the second game, win a third game, and that third game I want to talk about, because that game is historic, because so one of their pitchers at the time, Curt Schilling. Let me see if I have a Curt Schilling card. Come on, I'm sure I had one. Maybe I don't. But Curt Schilling. In this game, Game 6, he was one of their best pitchers, but he was injured. They didn't have anyone else, so he had to pitch. and his ankle was really hurt, so they gave him some medicine for it, but basically he was playing on this very torn ankle, and famously it bled through his ankle, bled through his sock, and creating the infamous bloody sock. Kurt Schilling playing through this obvious pain, but somehow he stuck it out, and they won the game. They won Game 6. That same Game 6 that was their downfall the last year. They won that game, and then they're on Game 7, and they do it. They win Game 7 and beating the Yankees, beating this hurdle that had been with them for 86 years. The Yankees were they were their rival, but it was, you couldn't even really call it a rivalry, because the Yankees won probably a dozen World Series, or maybe I think more in that time period, but the Red Sox didn't win any. So they had overcome this hurdle, and then they make it to the World Series against the Cardinals, and it's easy. It's a piece of cake. They already beat the boss. They beat who they needed to beat, and the Cardinals were no challenge, and they just plowed right through them, and won for the first time in 86 years. Just growing, living in Boston at the time, it was I was 9 years old. It was the greatest moment in my life. It was truly, it was the most important thing I felt that I had been a part of, in my short life at that time. And it was also the peak of my interest in baseball. So it was the perfect kind of thing to the timing and the thing to happen. And I got to watch, amazingly, I got to watch the parade from my dad. At the time, my dad worked in downtown Boston, and I got to watch the parade from his office window. The Red Sox, on a tour bus, slowly drove down Boylston Street, and I got to see them, and the crowds just going crazy. It was incredible moment. And yeah, so that's the story of the '04 Red Sox. And I want to talk about, I want to go in depth into that team, though. But first, I do want to talk about the movie. So the year after, a documentary, ESPN documentary called Faith Rewarded, came out about the Red Sox winning the World Series. And it is the movie that I, by far, have seen the most times of any movie. And this was, before I really cared about movies, but we had it on VHS or on DVD, and I probably, it came out in 2005. I probably watched it, once a week for that whole year. I probably saw it 50 times. Whenever I was bored, I would just put it on, because it was just an automatic, an easy thing to put on to just make me feel amazing. And I don't know. I wish I had something like that I could do that with, again. But it feels like, I don't know. It was just so easy to watch, and such an easy serotonin shot. But oh yeah, I was gonna get to this, and I'll get to this now. The reason why I have this Cubs hat here is because the Cubs are kind of parallel team in a lot of ways to the Red Sox. They did recently win the World Series, but at the time, until recently, they hadn't won for 100 years. So they had a curse that was worse than the Red Sox. They hadn't won for so long. And they actually sold this in a Modell's, a sporting goods store in Boston. And I think that wasn't by accident. I think all Red Sox fans, all people from Boston can really relate to the Cubs and to Chicago for, they have this like kinship, I guess, with that. But yeah, I mean, I love the logo, but I just like, I don't know. I think I just bought the hat because yeah, they another like underdog story, this club of like people who just couldn't do it for so long, and like just overcoming something like that is really amazing. Okay, what am I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, I'll talk about my second favorite baseball player. I think I've dropped his name thus far, but Manny Ramirez. After A-Rod, Manny became my favorite player, and it was pretty easy to know why. Let me see if I can find a good card of Manny. Here we go. Here's Manny. That's an old card of him, but so I said earlier that the Red Sox, they were called by a lot of people the idiots. Yeah, the 2004 Red Sox were the idiots, and I think a lot of that reason was because of Manny Ramirez. He was maybe the biggest idiot of the idiots, but when I say that, I mean he was like an absolute goofball, and he loved baseball so much, but he like just did it his own way. He really only played by his rules, and that kind of led to people coining the term Manny being Manny. And what that means is just like he did things like no other baseball player. I mean, he was an incredible player, and I think he probably only got away with this stuff because of how good he was at the game. I think if he was not a star player, they would just be like, why are you acting like this? Like, stop. So a couple anecdotes from Manny's hijinks. The classic scoreboard incident. One game, it was in the middle of an inning, middle of play. Manny just walked. So in Fenway Park, where the Red Sox play, you can walk. There's the scoreboard like on the back wall that has a door, to go in to change the score. And mid-inning, Manny just walked right into the scoreboard because there was a bathroom in there to just take a leak. And like not even while the play was stopped, like they kept playing like while he was not even on the field. And he just didn't care. He had to go. So just did what he had to. Another time when he had just joined the Red Sox, apparently he had got a paycheck when they were on the road. He got a paycheck and he just left it in a pair of his shoes in the locker room and like went back to the hotel and just, so he was kind of like a space case. He was kind of like this guy who if he didn't want to come like do this like charity event, he just wouldn't do it. He just didn't care. He would, if he didn't, want to play left field, he wouldn't play left field. And I think the coaches and his teammates, they knew what they were dealing with him, and they didn't, try to change that. They were just like, Manny being Manny, just he's winning us games, so like let's just like let him be. And I mean, I think like later on, like after they won the World Series and all that, like he left the Red Sox eventually, and I think his behavior kind of like became diva-ish at a certain point, like just refusing to play and stuff like that at times. But I think in his heyday, like he was just one of the biggest like characters in baseball. There's so many good anecdotes about the 2004 Red Sox. I just got to go through them quickly. Pedro Martinez, that pitcher that I talked about, one of their star pitchers. At one point during that season, he said about the Yankees, "The Yankees are my daddy," which was a really weird thing to say, but again, like just showed that these guys were clowns, but they they cared so much, but they weren't like super serious. They didn't have a very straightforward approach, and that's kind of the opposite of the Yankees actually. And I should talk about that. The Yankees were a very differently run baseball team. Like they were very I think strict and disciplined in their approach, and their managers didn't let them have facial hair. They made all of them shave, and all this, and this is especially important because one of the star Red Sox players, Johnny Damon, who helped them win the World Series in 2004, again, another, just like A-Rod, a parallel, just like Babe Ruth, through time, Johnny Damon gets traded from the Red Sox to the Yankees. And I should tell you that Johnny Damon, they called him Jesus when he was on the Red Sox because of his luscious hair. He looked like Prince Charming. Like in Shrek when like Prince Charming like takes off the helmet and he like whips his hair. Like he looked like that. Like he was a god on the Red Sox, and when he got traded to the Yankees, they made him cut off his beautiful head of hair, and he had short hair, and it was the saddest thing. Like it was just it made you hate the Yankees all the more, just like to see one of your favorite guys get first go over to them, but then kind of be made normal, he wasn't an idiot anymore when he was on the Yankees. They made him conform. But that was definitely a shame. Oh yeah. I want to talk about another player on the Red Sox. Where is he? Here we go. Oh. Whoa. This is Kevin Youkilis. He was a first baseman. It was one of his first years playing in general. He was like a rookie when he on the 2004 team actually when they won. But I bring him up because he was one of the few Jewish baseball players playing in the MLB at the time. And as a Jewish kid myself, a young Jewish baseball player myself, it was like really amazing to see him become a star for their team, and just it showed he could do it. And I did feel like I will say playing baseball as a Jewish kid in a town that was predominantly like Irish Catholic, the Boston area. I did kind of feel a bit outside sometimes. I mean, I wasn't the only Jewish kid playing baseball in the town, but I definitely did feel a bit outside of the core culture. And this was a culture that the kids' parents would go out. Some of the kids' parents who were the coaches of the team, these coaches would always go out to bars. I didn't see this obviously, but I heard stories that they would go out to bars and over a beer they would trade players. They would just like trade their sons and their kids. Oh, I think the camera went dead. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they would just like trade kids, get drunk and trade kids, which is I always found that to be kind of bizarre in retrospect. But seeing like Kevin Youkilis and other Jewish players at the time really, was inspiring. I'm not gonna lie. And actually, at around that time, 2004, 2005, there were actually 3 Jewish baseball players on the Red Sox at that time, and that was like, I think, the most on any one team since like the 30s or the 40s. So that was pretty cool to see that in Boston. And I actually was talking to my dad recently about this, and there was another Jewish baseball player at the time named Sean Green. I think he played for the Dodgers. And like I wrote a letter to Alex Rodriguez, apparently I also wrote a letter to Sean Green, this Jewish baseball player. And in this letter, my dad tells me that apparently I asked Sean Green if he had been bar mitzvahed, because I had probably was about to be bar mitzvahed and I was nervous about it or something. And I think that's really funny. Just like, I don't remember if I ever got a response from Sean or not, but I think that was pretty funny. What else? What else do I have? Oh yeah, one more thing about Manny Ramirez. In I think 2004, 2005, he became an American citizen, and this was like a big deal in Boston. It was like all over the news. It was really cool to see your favorite. Because he was my favorite player at the time, to see this happen. And at the time I was also just getting into my creative side of just like figuring out that I liked making things. And my mom actually taught animation in high school, like 2D, 3D animation. And so we had like Flash, Adobe Flash on the computer at home. And I started making these dumb Flash animations. And one of the first Flash animations I made was of Manny Ramirez, congratulating Manny Ramirez for becoming an American citizen. And I'm so sad that I think I've lost it. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know. I might have been deleted forever, which is really sad. But it's this Flash animation. It's like Manny's head like bouncing up and down, and there's like an American flag in the background. And it's to the backing track is "Born in the USA" by Bruce Springsteen, and it's literally just Manny bouncing around. And I mean, it's really really dumb, but like I don't know. I would really, I wish I could find that, because I think that'd be pretty special. And yeah, so kind of like baseball being my first passion kind of intersected with me starting to make things and starting to use baseball as like my first creative outlet. And I actually started, it was my first YouTube channel around that time, Baseball Star 132. And I just would make these stupid baseball videos on iMovie and upload them. And one of them, which was like the best infielders or the best, best players of the time, like just a slideshow of who I thought the best players were. I uploaded it, and somehow it just like blew up, because this was in like 2006, 2007, when YouTube was like just starting off, and it somehow blew up. I have no idea how, but it got hundreds of thousands of views like in a matter of weeks or months, and that was really weird to see. Like that was like my first thing that went viral, I guess. Not viral, but it was, the funny part about it was just like it was mostly like dislikes, and like all the comments were like people like saying like, "You're a fucking idiot, like this is so wrong, like you forgot this guy, like how could you like," just basically arguing about like my opinion. And at the time I probably took it really badly, but I think it's really funny. So stick around, and we're actually going to play that video at the end after we do a little call session. But I don't have much more to talk about. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you these guys up close. I was gonna show you these guys. Could we put this camera back on? Thank you. Just want to show you this picture. You've probably seen it on the desk so far, but these are the 2004 Boston Red Sox when they won. This is a framed photo of their, pig pile after, and this is a special image. I don't know. This was everywhere. I think this was the Boston Globe's front page image, and I forget what the headline is. I should have looked it up, but I think it's like finally or something like that. It's like a punchy one word title, but it's like we did it or like finally or like something like that. But yeah, it was just massive. And one more anecdote I want to say. Let me check the time. How are we doing on time? We're okay. One more anecdote I want to say is actually they won in 2004, but then they won again in 2007. Only 3 years after. I mean, people thought was it a fluke? But no. They won 3 years later actually, and during 2007, Jordan's Furniture, which is if you don't know, it's a local furniture chain in the Boston area, and it's a really weird kind of store. They have, they sell furniture obviously, but they also have IMAX theaters inside. They're kind of these big mall things. They're just these kind of gaudy, enormous, buildings with a theater and concessions, but they're also selling furniture for some reason. Anyway, Jordan's Furniture in 2007, they often did this kind of promotion where they would give a refund to anyone who bought a couch or a bed or any kind of piece of furniture. They would give them all of the money back if the Red Sox won the World Series in 2007. And I mean, I'm sure it was a great promotional tactic. I'm sure they got a ton of sales this way, but they should have known that the Red Sox had just won the World Series. It definitely wasn't impossible anymore. The curse had been broken. The curse had been reversed, as everyone said. But they did this promotion anyway, and of course, the Red Sox won in 2007, and Jordan's had to give 25,000 people a full refund on their couches and stuff, and their insurance company got screwed because of it. They lost $20 million or something like that. But I think that's a really funny piece of Boston sports trivia. But yeah, that's pretty much. I could show a few more baseball cards. I do want to show. This is is this on? I want to show one more. I have a few older cards. It was not. Could we zoom in? Thank you. There we go. So yeah, this is one of maybe my most prized card. This is actually Mickey Mantle card from the 50s. This is the oldest baseball card I have, and it was given to me by a family friend. But I definitely at the time when I was collecting, I definitely was more into the new cards and the shiny ones, some of the shiny, flashy ones that I showed you. But I think now, I don't know, now that my collection is kind of smaller and it's just the ones that mean a lot to me, I really value these. I have 9 or 10 of these older cards, and I don't know, they're just really cool pieces of history. And anyway, yeah. I could show you some more, but I think we should go to.
How do you sort your cards? Jimmy Song wants to know.
Jimmy Song. Jimmy Song asks, how do I sort my cards? That's a good question. I used to. I mean, okay, I'll show you. Like, so right now, and so I have them. Here. This out of the way. Oh no. There. This is good. Oh, there. Thank you. Right now I have them like the old cards in the front. So these are all older cards, and then as it goes on, it's more recent and more recent. And then it gets to newer. Oh, and then I have I have a page of these are all rookie cards. We have there we go. That's Manny Ramirez rookie card, Barry Bonds rookie card, Sammy Sosa rookie card, and then I have other pages like this all Red Sox page, and then these are these are the cards that I was into when I was a kid. These are the shiny holographic ones that they would give you in these are rare ones you would get in packs. And I do want to give a shout out to a long gone store, but the Card Dog in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Incredible place. Had a lot of great memories going to the Card Dog. It was a trading card store, and I got baseball cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, everything there. It was just the best. I think it's probably been gone for 10 years now or something. But anyway, should we go to what? Another question? What's the other question? What's my favorite holographic card? There's some. Okay. There's some really cool ones. This one is really cool. Yeah, it is. Look at that. Look at that. Whoa. This is Ivan Rodriguez. He's a star for the Rangers. But as you can see, that's him running. And it just goes crazy when you turn it. That's a really cool one. This one's cool too. I don't know. There's just some I don't know. They just made cards that looked crazy back then. It's beautiful. And I don't know. Especially as a kid, just trading these and arranging them. It was always about I should say it was about constant rearrangement and here's my phone. Here's a page. Here's so I would just constantly be making these pages and seeing how I could arrange them the best. So it was definitely a design, an early artistic tendency, I think, seeing how I could make them look the best on a page. And this 3x3 layout was really satisfying to create designs with. If you had cards that looked the same or whatever, just making cool patterns with them. That was a big part of it too. Yeah. More questions? What position did I play? I played a lot of different positions, but I played right field a lot. But when I got a bit older, when I was in middle school and that, I was mainly playing second base. I was a pretty good fielder. I was generally I was a pretty bad hitter. But I was pretty fast, and I could field decently well. So I was like, I'd say I was like average, maybe slightly above average player. I was never like the star or anything like that. But yeah. Have I been to any Philly games before lockdown? The answer is no. I almost, there's been times where I'm thinking about, oh, maybe I'll go to one. But I don't know. I honestly, it's, as you can see, like, it's, it's kind of a time, like, it's like a time capsule of like this love for baseball and for this sport. And it's, I definitely do not follow baseball as closely nowadays. So for that reason, I don't think, I think it'd be fun to go to a Phillies game, but I have no love for the Phillies as a team. I don't know anything about the Phillies. I know the Philly Fanatic, obviously, the infamous Philly Fanatic. Great classic mascot. But I have not been to a Phillies game. But one day if they're doing in-person games again, or games with a real crowd again, maybe I'll check it out.
Do you still watch baseball?
Do I still watch baseball? The answer is no, but I kind of finding my old cards and like thinking about it again, and like I've actually been getting back into it a bit, but I don't really like watch baseball anymore that much. But I will give also a shout out to John Boyce, who is an amazing sports writer and just video maker. He makes these incredible like baseball, not only baseball, all sports, but mainly baseball videos on YouTube with like crazy 3D like infographics, like charts and things like that. And they're in the way he like talks about baseball like is just so cool, and like he's just a great storyteller that he can make all of the different like different teams and anecdotes like so funny and interesting. And like that's kind of like a point that I wanted to like maybe, that was kind of a closing point, but I guess I'll just say it now that like I know a lot of people think baseball is a really boring game. It is a very slow game like to watch, but I think baseball is about storytelling, and it's about like narratives, and like for instance like the Curse of the Bambino, like the Red Sox and Yankees rivalry. This is like a 100-year story that keeps unfolding, and there's new chapters all the time. So it's like it's definitely like playing the long game or whatever. Like it's not an explosive like fast-paced game, but it's about like it's about storytelling, and it's about the personalities, I think, because there are some ridiculous personalities in the game, and I don't know, it's also very like it's kind of a Zen sport also. There's like all these silence, like there's so much stillness and moments between the moments. There are like explosive moments, but like it's kind of like the anticipation about like waiting, like the energy building up, waiting for this like incredible play to happen. So I don't know if this has succeeded in anything. I just hope I get more people to like not just think baseball's like a waste of time and like absolutely boring. But maybe that's not really my goal, but I just wanted to share like what some of the things I thought were so interesting about it. But do we we're gonna play video after we take some calls, but I guess should we open the lines now? Okay, so Lines are open. Give me a call if you want to just talk about anything. If you want to talk about sports or like, it doesn't have to be sports if you don't want to. Maybe just like a passion, any kind of childhood passion of yours that like do you still care about it now? Like, have you rediscovered anything you loved from? Okay, I'm getting a call. Hold on. Hello?
Hi, Matt.
Hey, who's this?
It's Madison. Hey.
Oh, Madison, what's up?
Madison. Oh, Madison, what's up?
Oh.
I just wanted to talk about, as far as I know, like, history-wise, the Red Sox acquired, like, the Red Sox acquired, like, they tried to buy Billy Beane, and then they hired Bill James.
Wait.
To do the whole Moneyball series.
Right. Okay, so Madison's talking about sabermetrics. Oh, we're getting some echo. What? No. Okay, sorry. I'm getting an echo from this call. I don't know. Maybe it's through like something. Anyway, but yeah, talking about sabermetrics, Bill James. I don't know a lot about the history of Bill James and the Red Sox, but yeah, if you're interested in Moneyball or baseball, watch the movie Moneyball because it's fascinating. It's how they figured out how to optimize the game in terms of acquiring players and doing different plays. But thanks for that. I don't know about the history of Bill James really, but
No, well, thank you for just listening to my call, and this has been the most enjoyable thing I've watched on Twitch in a while. So.
Oh, thanks so much, Madison. Thanks for calling in. All right, I'm gonna take another caller, but talk soon. Bye. Okay, we had some echo on that one. Hopefully, lines are still open. I don't know if that was maybe. I mean, it was from Montreal, so maybe it was What? A what video before? Oh, it was probably, that's what it was. Hey, Raph. Oh, wait, sorry. Wait, sorry. I wasn't on speaker. Can you talk?
I think you're too much.
Sorry. Oh, I'm getting sorry. I can't hear you so well. I'm really sorry. You're cutting out. Hello? Oh, I just got 2 calls from Canada. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I think we're not getting great reception in the studio. But wait. I'm not doing this. Hello?
Hey, what's up, Matt?
Hey, Reed. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. I am wondering if you have some idea what that card from the 50s is worth, and also if you have any other particularly valuable cards in your collection.
I don't know what the Mickey Mantle card is worth. I think it would not be worth very much because the corners are pretty frayed and it's in pretty bad condition. I think if it were in mint condition, it would probably be worth quite a bit. And that probably goes for all of my old cards. None of them are in great condition. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really have them to I don't know. I'm not really interested in selling them or any of them at this point. I've kind of sold off all of the ones that were worth something. So basically I'll say this. I didn't say this earlier. The biggest or big part of my collection was game used cards. So these are cards that have a piece of a player's bat or a piece of a player's jersey. A on them, and they came in regular packs. So it was like they were rare, like, but if you got lucky, you could get a game used card. So that was like a big part of my collection. I would have like these game used cards, and I probably had like about 50 of them at the max. And those I did sell off because they were worth a bit. But I also sold them because I didn't really have a sentimental attachment to them. I didn't, as an adult, I didn't really care as much about having a piece of, someone's jersey or something like that. Yeah, someone's. I don't even know if it was. They said game used jerseys, which is kind of gross. Like, I guess, like, but my guess is that they weren't even game used. They were like, they just like had an extra that they like sold to this card company or whatever. I got you. But
so pretty much the stuff that's left in your collection is just purely sentimental.
Yes. The stuff that's remaining. I mean, it's probably only a few hundred cards like left, and it's all ones that I mean, I don't love all of them, but I'd just kept the ones that I felt like I liked looking at, not for any other reason. But yeah, thanks for the question.
Yeah, you bet.
And thanks for tuning in, Reed.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, talk soon.
Bye.
Oh, Zan, my friend Zan, he keeps trying to call me. I'm gonna call him.
Hello?
Hey, Zan. You're on the stream.
You hear me?
Yeah, you're on the show. Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Hey, oh, sorry. Is it a bad signal? Can you?
You're breaking up a lot.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, my signal is really bad in here.
Hello?
We're gonna try calling a different number. Try calling. Yeah, we're gonna put a different number up on the screen.
I can't hear literally
Yeah.
anything you're saying.
Sorry, we're gonna put a different number up on the stream. Maybe just call George from your phone. Or- Okay. We're changing the number. My connection is not very good, it seems. Do you want to just call him? Or? All right, I think we got. All right, we have a better connection. Oh. Hello?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Zan. Thanks for calling.
Big fan of the show. First time caller. Just wanted to ask, what if you listened to sports radio back on the day, like WEI, and what role that had
Yeah.
in your fan, how that played into your love of the Red Sox.
Right. So Zan asks, did I listen to sports radio back in the day? And the answer is yes, definitely. I think just because my dad listened to it a lot. He would listen to the games. I mean, I grew up hearing just the Red Sox on the radio. My dad would just be. This was before we had like an HD TV. Like he would just be listening to the games, the cast of the games on the radio, and I grew up like listening to that and hearing Jerry Remy and Don Orsillo cast the games, and they're just iconic like Boston voices. And I think that definitely, I haven't listened to sports radio in a while, but every time I'm like on a long drive, I like kind of trying to find a sports radio station because like the hosts are just these crazy guys. They're just like really weird and like, I don't know, often kind of conservative, dudes, but I don't know. There's something kind of interesting about hearing it now. I don't know, but
Yeah, I love it. I love, there was that one guy, the one announcer, who would always say, "Can you believe it?" And in fact, when the Red Sox were about to win the World Series, my dad he muted the TV and then turned on the radio.
That's really funny. Yeah, can you believe it? That's a classic line from 2000. We heard, you kept hearing that in 2004. That was like the sound bite that they kept repeating over and over. And yeah, I mean, there was just there was all these things that were just so constantly around us back then, like the reverse the curse T-shirts. Reverse the curse was. Reverse the curse ice cream as well. Yes, local ice cream brand Brigham's had a reverse the curse Boston Red Sox flavor of ice cream. Yeah, I mean it was.
When they won, they just changed it to curse reversed.
Yeah, and they changed it to curse reversed after, of course, they won. That's yeah. It was just it was crazy. It was like everyone won the lottery, in Boston. It was ridiculous. Right. Just the energy that was in the city was crazy. And I don't know, I mean, I'm sure, it happens for, lots of cities and lots of teams, but being a kid then was definitely an informative, experience. Anyway, thanks for calling, Zan.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in. And bye. All right. I think I got one other call when we were talking, but keep the lines open for a little bit more. But okay. Here we go. Hello?
Hey, it's Raph.
Oh, hey, Raph. Sorry, this is a better connection. My phone was bad.
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool.
Okay, number one rapid fire question is, what flavor was Reverse the Curse ice cream?
Okay, Raph asked what flavor was Reverse the Curse ice cream, and that is a great question. You're putting me on the spot here. I do not know. I think it was probably, I don't know, some kind of cookie dough or something like that, cookies and cream. I really don't remember. But it was. I'm sure they sold a ton of it, whatever it was, just based off that name. I'm sure every single kid who went into that ice cream shop asked for the Reverse the Curse ice cream. Anyway.
For sure. And my main question was,
Sorry?
My main question was where you stand on magic, which is something else I know was early in your YouTube history important to you.
Uh-oh, someone's digging up some of my YouTube history. So Raph just asked, how important was magic to me as a kid, and I don't want to, because I could do a whole other show about that. So I'm not going to go too deep into it now. But and he's talking about magic as in sleight of hand and card magic, not Magic the Gathering. But yes, I'd say so. So I'll say baseball was my first big passion, but then I think kind of throughout my childhood and even to now, I've had just a series of obsessions, just phases that I was really into this one thing, and then and magic was definitely one of them. I had a magic phase where I was obsessed with learning sleight of hand, and I bought a bunch of decks of cards and stuff like that. And yes, I do. I did make a couple YouTube videos of that, but I'm not gonna disclose those as of now. Maybe if I do another show about that, I'll show some of those. But I'm sorry, that was a big teaser, maybe. But thanks for the question.
Yeah, no problem. Great show.
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks for. Sorry. Oh.
Thanks for the show.
Okay, yeah. Thanks so much for calling and tuning in. Have a good night. Bye. Oh, all right. Cool. Well, thanks so much for watching this, you guys. And calling. This is super cool. People are oh no. People are sending me, someone sent me a Photoshop of a baseball card of me on this stream. Can we get a close up of this? Can we get a close up of this? Oh my god, that's so sick. It says my name and it says Baseball Star 132, which is my old handle. That's so great. Thanks so much, Em. Yes. Amazing. Well, does anyone have any final thoughts or calls or questions? Maybe we'll give a little time for that, and if not, I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to play you the video that I made when I was 10 years old, and it's a slideshow, and it's like the best infielders of all time or something, and it's to the tune of Danny California by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks so much for watching. This has been really fun. I kind of went into it with not much prepared, but it was really fun. And thanks for watching and being interested. So I will say goodbye. And we'll throw on that video now.
Getting born in the state of Mississippi. Papa was a copper and the mama was a hippie. In Alabama, she was swinging a hammer. Price you gotta pay when you break the panorama. She never knew that there was anything more than gold. What in the world does your company take me for? Black bandana, sweet Louisiana, robbing on a bank in the state of Indiana.